Creating a pinch pot. Once you have divided your clay into 3 spheres, you're going to go ahead and wrap the large and medium back up in your Ziploc bag so that they stay soft while you're working on your smallest pinch pot. So back in the bag they go. Then you're going to take your smallest piece of clay, and we always start with the smallest because it is the easiest. They get more difficult as the clay gets larger. We're going to make sure it's as kind of round as we can, and we are going to go ahead and start by pressing our thumb in the center of the clay. I'm going to go ahead and take my ring off actually because it can make impressions in the clay. I'm going to go ahead and carefully, while holding the clay and supporting it, push my thumb inside without going all the way through. Now, I'm going to use these 4 fingers and I'm going to wrap them around this ball of clay as I begin to lift my thumb, and I'm going to slowly turn and press outward. So I'm slowly opening up this pot as I turn the ball of clay, supporting the outside with these 4 fingers and with this hand here. You want to make sure that you go very slowly, because what can happen is as you stretch the clay, you'll notice it starts to get a little bit dry. So that can happen by kind of touching it too much and by stretching it too quickly. The lip or the rim of your pinch pot can start to crack. So I'm very gently turning it and using the whole part of my thumb to press, and you see how smooth the inside is. We aren't pinching like this. We're using our whole thumb to gently press and smooth that interior wall. Now, if I'm just going for a classic pinch pot shape, I'm going to kind of make it tall and wide at the same time. If I were trying to make it tall, I would try to keep it close together, not open it up so much, but stretch the walls taller. If I were making it short and wide, I would stretch it out further as opposed to lifting the walls in height. So as I rotate, I am very gently pressing and stretching the clay. A little bit of clay does go a long way, so you'd be surprised at how far you can actually stretch that little kind of like 1 inch, inch and a half ball of clay. So I'm going to be careful to make sure that my lip stays even. If it starts to get a little bit crackly, you can take a just damp sponge or just a wet finger and kind of smooth that out to add a little bit more moisture back to your clay. You want to be careful not to add too much. It'll get very slippery and sticky very quickly. So you want to add just a little bit at a time to make sure that you're smoothing out that lip. So you can see I'm just smoothing. As I get further and further along, I'll make sure that I'm smoothing the exterior as well. And right now, my bowl is kind of like angular, so I might now start to use the surface, my work surface, to create a flat bottom for that pinch pot while I continue to stretch. We're looking for a lip of our pot that is approximately 1/4 inch in thickness. So you can grab your ruler and check. I'm almost there. It's a little bit thinner in some spots, but approximately 1/4 inch in thickness. Once I'm happy with the thickness and the shape of my pinch pot, I will let it sit for a few moments to hold its shape before I maybe go back and smooth the outside again with that just tiny bit damp sponge, just to make sure it's really smooth and uniform all the way across. I want a smooth surface so that I can cleanly press my texture stamps into the outside walls of my pot when I'm ready.